Mm-hmm.
And it was somewhere when he was 6 to 7 years of age.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly, something happened between us, and he just told me that, Mama, I don't like you. We have to teach our children to be idle. But this is
Mm-hmm.
very, very important. We as parents think that our child should never ever sit idle.
Okay.
Our child should never ever have his me time just staring at the stars, staring at the sky, or just being in nature, being in woods, looking around and just doing nothing, just being with yourself. Because if you don't like your own self, you don't have a journey inward, that who am I, all the time you will be striving to make others happy, but you will never ever be happy. Work should not become work. If it becomes
Mm-hmm.
play, then we enjoy.
Welcome to the Ravinara Show. Again, today, another episode of Ravinara Show, where today I have a guest who is a pediatric neurologist and a development pediatrician by profession with 17 years of experience with children, and a mother to a teenage boy, a certified life and evolved parenting expert, a seeker and lifelong learner. Now, she is the founder of the Evolved Parenting Hub, wherein she teaches her unique methodology and science based tools to parents. She is a passionate mother who has embarked on her journey of self discovery and growth and wanting to share her experience today, wisdom, and science based techniques with every parent so that they can unlock their potential to build deep connection with their child. And her mission is to help 1 million parents evolve from conflict to deep connection with their child using the evolved parenting methodology. And her vision is to create a community of evolved parents who are dedicated to raise empowered, compassionate, and resilient children. So, a very warm welcome to you, Dr. Arpita Adhikari. And I am very much excited to have a conversation with you because today we are going to talk about something which is very much deep, about a parenting, which is an important topic which can make and break a child's future. So, very warm welcome to the Ravinara Show, Dr. Arpita.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ravi. I am as excited as you are, and deeply honored to come on your talk show. And the mission of both of us here is to, touch as many lives as we can and make a
Mhm.
difference to this world. So thank you for inviting me and looking forward to the conversation.
Absolutely. So, Dr. Arpita, could you help us sharing your journey that as a doctor towards more now focusing about the evolved parenting, where and how this all got started? Whether someday or maybe one night you got a spark and then suddenly everything changed, or this has evolved after some or kind of an events or instances. How all this got started?
Sure. So, yes, like any other girl, I was a
Mhm.
girl with a lot of aspirations,
Mhm.
chosen to become a doctor and a super specialist.
Mhm.
Was very, very fortunate to have my soulmate, and we got married. After marriage, for me, rearing up a child, having a child was one of the most beautiful things, that could happen to me. I was in that, a Lala world, that having a child would be so beautiful and
Mhm.
life will be really, really rosy.
Mhm.
I am a developmental pediatrician and a child specialist.
Mhm.
So I often thought that I am very well equipped with the knowledge to raise a
Okay.
child,
Mhm.
but never did I know that this is never ever covered in the curriculum, in the medical curriculum that we go through. This is a
Okay.
totally different ball game.
Mhm.
So my son was born. Things went fine. Yes, the mundane things, a mother goes through,
Mhm.
of
Mhm.
giving up her career and then just looking after the child 24 by 7.
Mhm.
That is what happened. And I did it with a lot of love because, the person that I am, I
Mhm.
just surrendered to the process.
Mhm.
The real challenge began when, after my 8 months of maternity leave, I joined my job. I am a professor in a medical college. So when I
Mhm.
joined that, and when I had to then juggle in between my work, my family, my
Mhm.
child, my in laws, my career ambitions, and many
Mhm.
other things. Still, when my son was young, things went on okay
Mhm.
because he didn't have his own voice then. As
Correct.
my son grew up,
Mhm.
and it was somewhere when he was 6 to 7 years of age,
Mhm.
suddenly something happened between us. And someone whom I have treasured so much, and I thought that I did so many things for him, actually I
Mhm.
was doing for myself, but that
Okay.
was my ignorance.
Mhm.
And he became very upset with me, and he just told me that, Mama, I don't like you.
Mm.
So that is the point when I was completely shattered, because something that you think that you own, and
Mhm.
you have reared him up, how can he say so?
Mm.
And there is when I dwell deep within myself, and I realize that I don't like you is not about me, but it is I don't like this. And what was
Okay.
happening, that I was following the traditional mode of parenting. First
Mhm.
myth that I had, that parenting is natural, and I just have to give birth to a child and मैं naturally mother ho jaungi. That was the
And
first
go
myth
in a
I had.
flow, whatever happens. Mhm.
Yes, that was very, very wrong. Second
Mhm.
thing, the traditional parenting methods, which I have learned, what I was reared up with, all my friends did, was
Mhm.
lot about control. It was lot about
Mhm.
control, rewards, and punishment. And it
Mhm.
was lot about thinking that your child is your property. And you can dictate certain things to your child, irrespective of whether your child wants to do it or no. So I
Mhm.
was a control freak that time, and that is what my son didn't like it.
Mhm.
When certain incidences happened. So
Mhm.
that was the second thing that I realized. And then I started digging into it, that what if this method is not working? So
Mhm.
what could be a methodology where there can be complete deep connection, and it could be more of a friendship rather than someone having a higher role and a lower role,
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
being a leader and leading your child from the front and giving commands. Rather
Mhm.
than that, is it something where I can become my child's friend? So
Mhm.
there is when I realized that first I need to raise myself, I need to raise my consciousness, I
Mhm.
need to evolve. So it is
Mhm.
a child makes a parent, it is not a parent makes a child. That was the stalking thing that came across.
Oh.
And that is when I did courses. I started reading books about it. And it is from my own experience, I developed this system wherein a parent already has the potential within, to become
Mhm.
a beautiful parent. But
Mhm.
it is just that a parent needs to learn how to do these things, and
Mhm.
wherein I developed this methodology. So my journey went from being a mom to a doctor mom, and
Mhm.
from a doctor mom to being an actual mom who is now a very good friend of my son, and
Mhm.
having a beautiful, deep connection with him.
Well, when I was listening to this, like when you were sharing this, like there are so many things I started realizing about my childhood, and this traditional method, like everybody think that once you become a parent, you just have to go as a flow and things will start working on, but that doesn't happen in today's life, especially. And you said something which is very profound, and I want you to repeat that, and I want you to go deep in that. Is like it's not the parents who make child, a child who makes a parent. So could you please, like,
Yes.
go deep
Sure.
in that and give a better, like, more understanding in detail, because once the parent should understand this particular thing, and it will actually change the way they start thinking it. Yeah, please.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, Ravi, very astute of you to catch that line,
Mhm.
because, as you rightly said, that if somebody understands this philosophy, I think everything is sorted. Yeah.
Yes.
So, one of my philosophers that I follow, he
Mm-hmm.
says that your child comes through you, but he doesn't come for you. Yeah. So
Hmm.
he is not your property. What happens generally, we
Mm-hmm.
parents, because we have given birth to our child, we
Mm-hmm.
think that all that I want my child to become, he should become. Okay.
Hmm.
But your child is just a body. Okay. It's the soul is already there. There is a huge journey that the soul is taking off. So he has come with his own destiny. He has come with his own life purpose. And
Mm-hmm.
as parents, we are supposed to facilitate him in his purpose. Yeah.
Okay.
So what we do instead, we rather tell him that this is your purpose because actually it is our purpose. These
Yes.
are my aspirations which I put on my child. So it
Mm-hmm.
is not that way. The huge conflict starts when we think that my child is unable to follow his aspirations, but actually those are our aspirations. For example, now let me take an example of my husband. Like my husband used to play lawn tennis when
Mm-hmm.
he was growing up, and since he's also a doctor, and when he entered medicine, so he gave up his sport. So, when I was pregnant and when we were talking about our son, he always wanted my son to become a lawn tennis player. Fortunately, my son is because he likes, but it was one of my husband's aspiration for him to become a lawn tennis player. You get it? So
Mm-hmm.
many of us now, here there is a sync. My son also likes, and my husband wanted him. Conflict didn't come in. But most of the times it happens that, many of our aspirations that we couldn't fulfill, we want our child to do that. हम चाहते हैं कि हमारा बच्चा बहुत कुछ करे जो हम नहीं कर पाए, and the child doesn't want that. So there is when
Mm-hmm.
the conflict starts. So,
Mm-hmm.
what do I mean? That if you surrender to the process and you think that your child has come here to
Mm-hmm.
teach you something, to
Mm-hmm.
teach you how to be humble, to teach you how to surrender, and
Mm-hmm.
to teach you that, how you don't have to lead from the front, you have to be by the side of your child and you
Mm.
have to assist him only if he needs.
Needs.
So that is what I meant when I said that a parent doesn't make a child, the parent just gives a birth to a child. So biologically, we birth him, yeah,
Correct.
but we don't own him, yeah. So it
Mm-hmm.
is a child who actually tells you the truth. The child is a best mirror in front of a parent. Because if you see in any other relationship, whether it be a relationship with your spouse or it be relationship with your in-laws, your families or friends, you can do negotiations. And if you don't want that relationship, you can drop it, right? You can
Mm-hmm.
give a divorce to your spouse. If
Mm-hmm.
you're not fit with your in-laws, you can just leave the home and stay alone. If
Mm-hmm.
you don't like your friends, you can delete them, block them, don't have the friends.
Mm-hmm.
But a child is the only relationship where you need to adjust to him and you need to work on that relationship to make that beautiful relation. You can't just shun away a child, right? You would have
Mm.
very rarely heard of anybody who just, because I'm not able to adjust, my
Mm-hmm.
child is not fulfilling my aspirations, I gave up my child. Nobody does that. So
Mm.
it is this relationship which teaches you the maximum, and it is a beautiful mirror which shows you your flaws. That you know what you are as a human being, it shows you, and
Mm-hmm.
then you need to work on that, and then only you can develop a beautiful connection. Hope it
Absolutely.
makes sense.
Yes, yes, absolutely. You also told about the dreams imposing to the child,
Yeah.
because as a traditional parent I can see that there are so many times earlier there was a pattern and there was a trend which can be seen as a traditional parents, mother and father, that you have to be a lawyer, you have to be a doctor, you have to be an engineer, and there are so many people we can see as a product today.
Yep.
But now, what do you think? Is that a big red signal for today's generation parents towards their child, or it's okay that can be continued as a, like, it's a green signal? Because though they are able to complete their studies. If a parent want them to complete, let's suppose, an engineering, they are able to, like, some, or how they are able to complete their studies, and they are able to get a good jobs and everything. So do you think they will be able to create a purposeful future with the child, or in future, maybe after some time, like, there will be, like, empty from within, and they will not be fulfilled? Like, what is your take on this particular thing,
Yep.
and why it is very much important that, not as a parent, not imposing their dreams to them, so that, like, just because you have not fulfilled it.
Correct. So you're reminding me of the famous Three Idiots and the virus
Yes.
who just labeled as soon as the child is born that this one is going to become an engineer or this one is
Mm.
going to become a doctor.
Mhm.
Again, the story is the same, that it is the parent who wants the child to become that. That's why we label, and
Mhm.
that's why we mold the child in that direction. Yeah, so
Mhm.
now we both are doctors. So we
Mhm.
have seen that, many of the people, those who are couples, many of our
Mhm.
friends who are doctor couples, they do two things. Like, first, if they are not very happy with their profession, because yes, our profession is very tedious, they
Mhm.
will right from the beginning dissuade their child that do not take up medicine, do not become a doctor. And
Mhm.
second, that if they are having, build up a hospital or something and they want to carry their own legacy, they
Mhm.
might tell the child to go on that path. I'm not telling that this is wrong, yeah,
Mhm. Okay.
because it is a normal human instinct. No parent is doing this because he thinks ill about the child, yeah.
Correct.
It is not that if a doctor couple is baking or helping the child become a doctor, then it is wrong. I'm not telling that.
Mhm.
But at the same time, one needs to find out whether the child is really interested in doing so. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
Why? Because first thing, we cannot change anyone. Yeah.
Okay.
Can you change anyone? You cannot change, right? If you have a friend whose
Mhm.
habits you do not like, can you change the friend's habits? No. You have
Mhm.
to change yourself, become more tolerant to his habits rather
Mhm.
than changing him. So your child has come with his own aspirations, with his
Mhm.
own sanskaras, and as
Mhm.
I earlier said, he has his own life purpose. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
So we cannot change what the child has come with, because if we try to do that, what you said in your question,
Mhm.
like, if a child is not game for being doing medicine or becoming a doctor,
Mhm.
and the parent imposes to do that, the child would not be happy in long term, and there will be a lot of mental health issues that a child can have, and there are a lot of statistics regarding the same. Forget doctor, many other professions, yeah,
Mhm.
engineer, many other things.
Mhm.
So that is the first thing. So my take on this would be that you need to find out the interest of your child first
Mhm.
and the foremost.
Mhm.
How can you find out the interest of your child? By making him exposed to various things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Second thing, then guide the child with the pros and cons of the certain profession that he would like to enter into. Yeah, because you as a parent have much more experience and you have seen the world much more than the child has. So you are
Mhm.
absolutely right in telling the child that, these are the pros of this profession and these are the cons of this profession.
Mhm.
Then take a mutual decision. So here it should not be only child's decision or
Okay.
only parents' decision. It should be a mutual decision, okay, which is more about the child, based on his aptitude, based on his liking, based on something that he is going to live with the parents' experience, okay, of so many years, that
Mhm.
whether he'll be able to do justice to this profession or not. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, because when a child is very young, he might tend to flow with the herd mentality that my
Correct.
friends are doing this. Now you see that every year some trends come up. Like now there is a trend of AI going on, artificial intelligence. So you see anyone and everyone, I meet a lot of children, and I have a unique this, because rather than treating their diseases, I like to communicate with them. And I
Okay.
ask them, what do you want to become? So anyone, I want to do coding, I want to do gaming, I want to go into
Mm-hmm.
cyber security. So that's
Mm-hmm.
the trend going on. But the child is not equipped to know that what is the future of that 10
Mm-hmm.
years from now, or what are the hours that I need to put in, how it is going to unfold later. So a parent can use his or her wisdom over there, and then a mutual decision can come up, which is always for the betterment of the child, giving away, even if it is not the aspiration of the parent, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for sharing that, because it's there is a trend which every now and then, when there is a trend, people love to, like, go with the herd mentality that I also want to be that. They don't know the future about it, maybe in the next 5, 10, or 15, 20 years what is going to happen, but they want to do that. Now, coming back to the purpose, you said that you want, as a parent, you need to have your child to explore many different things, and then based on our, as a parent, experience and wisdom, we can gauge with the pros and cons, and we can give them a better direction towards their future, right?
Correct.
In this, is there any specific age when it comes to during the childhood where we will be able to see what is their interest, or maybe we will be able to find their strength or purpose of a life, or it's nothing, like, it can be on any age based on the
Okay.
studies or research.
Yeah, so I would say that, I don't know about the statistics or research about it, but this
Mm-hmm.
is from my personal experience of having a teenage boy and working with children for the last 2 decades,
Mm-hmm.
that I would say that there's no particular age,
Okay.
because, when you are in your childhood period, 5 to 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
you are more sporty. Be it a girl, be it a
Yes.
boy, you want to explore a lot of sports.
Mm-hmm.
But does that mean you're going to choose sports as your career? No.
No.
Maybe you will just play football for a year or two, and then you will get bored of it, you will drop, and you will move to something else, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that can happen during the childhood because the interest vary. So
Mm-hmm.
that's perfectly fine, because, one thing that I think parents need to understand, most of the parents get very upset. Like
Mm-hmm.
I know of so many parents whom, if the child has trained into football for 2 years, and then suddenly the child says that I don't want to play football anymore, the parent takes it so personally, that I invested so much time, not the money only, but so much time in it. You should take this at a higher level, you do it at a higher level, but the child doesn't want to do. So a
Mm-hmm.
parent has to accept that and then move on. Yeah. So,
Mm-hmm.
just your child playing violin for a couple of times doesn't mean that your child is going to be a violinist. That's
Mm-hmm.
one thing. Second thing, very important, I would like to say that I think it's an aspiration of each and every parent that my child should become either MF Hussain, or he should become, one of the best pianists. We
Mm-hmm.
should get away from this mentality of the best. Number one, number one, my child has to be the best. Okay, everybody cannot be. We have to accept our child as he or she is, the true essence of our child. We cannot
Mm-hmm.
say ki only if you're number one, I'm going to like you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody cannot be number one. Everybody cannot be the best. Yes, you strive for it. But whatever your child's essence is, you need to accept it, because in that rat race of making your child best
Mm-hmm.
in particular sport or particular activity, I think the peace is lost completely. Yeah, because there are certain things that you just need to do it for the fun of doing it. There should not be everything that I'm going to extract from it. Like, be if I'm training in football, I
Mm-hmm.
have to win medals, I have to win prizes. No, it doesn't work that way. You can always do certain things to have fun about it. Yeah, that those
Mm-hmm.
are called as hobbies. But
Mm-hmm.
nowadays it has become that every hobby should be converted into a career, and it should be converted into a success oriented career. I
Mhm.
think that's a huge wrong thinking on the part of parent.
Mhm.
And third thing that I would say, we have to teach our children to be idle. I'm just deviating from the topic a little, but this is very,
Mhm.
very important. We as parents think that our child should never ever sit idle.
Okay.
Our child should never ever have his me time just staring at the stars, staring at the sky, or just being in nature, being in woods, looking around and just doing nothing. That is extremely important. Just being with yourself. Because if you don't like your own self, you don't have a journey inward, that who am I? All the time you will be striving to make others happy, but you will never ever be happy. Yeah, so I would say that it is very, very important for parents. Yes, you do have dreams, you tell your children to have hobbies and participate in various sports, but when you think that this is the thing that he is going to follow, and when he doesn't, you get upset about it,
Mhm.
that's not the way thing works.
Okay.
So you got to be really patient. And as you asked age, I think when he goes into the school, then depending on what subject he likes, now over here also, there's a huge role that,
Correct.
the teacher, it's not
Mhm.
about the subject, it's how the teacher teaches the subject and the child likes the subject. Yeah,
Mhm.
but there are certain children who are genius in math, who are very good at sciences, and some of them are absolutely very good at only arts. So a parent needs to pick up those traits of a child and then can expose them further to various things. And then maybe that kind of future is much more acceptable, and the child will be more happy when he explores such kind of future. The aptitude counseling, there are many counselors who do aptitude counseling. That comes
Mhm.
at a little later age, when the child is
Mhm.
around 14, 15, in
Mhm.
the 8th, ninth, 10th grade, when it is, to choosing subjects. So that will come at a later age. But I think this is a simple way where
Mhm.
you allow the child to explore at his own, liking or disliking, not because rules. I
Mhm.
have told 6 months, so you have to do 6 months and all that. No,
Mhm.
if the child is not interested, he can drop certain things and then just follow what your child is happy with. We generally say that work should not become work. If it becomes
Mhm.
play, then we enjoy.
Mhm.
Just, yeah, whatever he gets happy with, that needs to be done.
Absolutely. I was just making a note of it. Now, you said a very great point over here because you said that sitting idle, okay, and just staring here and there, that should be more welcoming by a parents,
Yep.
right? Instead, I can remember that, like, saying that मेरे लड़के को देखो कभी भी देखा तो वो ऐसे बैठा ही रहता है. They should be like more what we say उनको और हौसला देना चाहिए या तो okay, so whatever he is doing, like are you thinking about anything, asking those kind of a questions. Instead of that, they always keep on telling that he doesn't like he is just like he just sit around and he don't do anything at all. And when we start saying again and again and again and again, so that also affects. और मुझे like ये याद आया because so many times I have seen like some parents tell कि he doesn't do anything. That's good, like at least he is reflecting on himself कि what should I do. Sometimes I think so parents make a child dumb by just telling them that you are a dumb.
Yep. Yep.
Lot of time happens. And the other day, like I was having a conversation with one of the family, and his parent like just asked me, and he said that, hey, just have a word with my like child. And he was 12 years old, okay.
Mm.
And his family was saying to me that, hey, just have a conversation with him, like what he does, what kind of a studies he is doing. So he was studying in a school, and I was just having a conversation. He showed me that, hey, like I want to show you something. I said, yeah, what? He showed me a book, and in that particular book there was somewhere 8 to 10 drawings. and drawing, that was a sketch, a beautiful sketch, which was been like, was been made by this kid, like, 12 years old kid. And that was like, different cartoon characters. I said,
Wow.
wow. And that immediately that clicked me that there is some kind of a sign, but we cannot say that this is the sure short sign, but yes, this is something which you love as well, right?
Yep.
Because he was, if you ask someone to just go ahead and like, do a sketch, it's not everybody's cup of tea.
True.
But this, like, 12-year kid, like, he is doing, and he was able to do it. And I said, like, how much time you take to make it? He said, maximum like 15 to 30 minutes I am able to
Wow.
make it all. I said, that's amazing. Then I started having a conversation with their family. And I asked, like, hey, like, he's doing something which is amazing. His family said, I know it's okay, but there is no career in it. So, in one side, if you see, there is a seed which is getting planted in the kid, right? So, I want your suggestion or your point of view. One side, there is a seed which is getting planted, which in future that will give a fruit. And on the other end, that parent is like, just removing that seed. This is what is happening. And I said, why do you say that, like, and he said, like, it's just a time pass, like, they need to concentrate more on studies. I said, yes, study is important, and when they have enough time, definitely they can do this. And they started saying, no, it's just a time pass, and there is no much of a career in it. And top of that, like, which is related to our conversation which is happening right now, he said there is just lots of competition in it. I said, as a child, as a 12-year-old, what is that competition? He, like, his family started saying there is lot of competition. So at the age of 12, they are competing with the people, like, maybe like, that 30, 40, 50 years old, who is already a big player in the market. So,
I
what do
get
you
that.
think? Like, what would be the approach towards these kind of a kid who is doing something which is coming from their heart? Maybe that is a sketch. Maybe that is some kind of a painting. Maybe that is some kind of a creative things. Maybe that is towards anything which they are able to see. What do you think? Like, what? How can they approach, and they can see like whether this can be their future or not? How can they do
Correct.
it?
Correct. So, Ravi, I would just like to make a mention here that our whole education system, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it is crafted in such a way that everybody is focused on marks and grades and coming
Mm,
first.
correct.
Nobody looks at a child who has come 10th in class but is the best cartoon maker or the caricature maker which
Hmm.
nobody else can do. You get it? There
Yes.
is where the society comes from. So,
Mm-hmm.
again, the evolved parenting methodology is a methodology where we do not fulfill the societal expectations, you know, by just killing the desires of a child. Over here, the story, what you're telling me, this all is happening because the parents always are a part of society, all of us,
Correct.
yeah, are a part of society. And we follow things because of societal expectations. Isn't this
Hmm.
a society remark that has been made that, we just have to study hard, then only you are good. You have to come first, third, first three in class, then only you are good. These are all the society marks that each one of us have grown up with.
Mm-hmm.
And evolved parenting is about that I do not come under societal pressures,
Mm-hmm.
but I look at what skill my child hones and don't think about it, as you said, comparing. Yeah,
Correct.
so, that is what I told in the last question you asked me. We want children to become first. How can my child be a mediocre cartoon maker? Okay. Or how can my child just be a cartoon maker? He has to make a name. We have to remove that from our mind that every child or everything is not only by making a name, there is something like internal happiness. Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
in this case, I would definitely like to tell the parents first, research about whether this has a career or not. Because
Hmm.
most of the times when we become parents, we say whatever we say is the gospel truth. No.
Correct.
Yeah. So you need to research about it. Giving my personal example that my son wants to get into cybersecurity.
Hmm.
We both do not have any idea about what it is, but
Hmm.
we have started our research about it on how it is going to unfold for him. And
Hmm.
then we will take external help, knowing his temperament, whether it will suit him or not. So,
Hmm.
first and foremost, before telling that this does not have career in India, this does not have money, everything is
Hmm.
not money based. So, research about it. That is the first thing that I would tell the parent.
Hmm.
Second thing I would like to tell the parent, not to make such comments in front of the child, because
Absolutely.
most of the times we crush our children's creative skills by making these comments. And a 12-year-old child or a young child is like a sponge. Once he hears his mother or father saying कि ये तो time pass है,
Hmm.
that is only playing on into his brain. So poor thing, if he wants to make this as a career also, in which he will be happy, he will always think, no, my parents think this is time pass. It is not correct. So I will not follow that. I will follow what they say. And there is when the story of conflict starts. Yeah.
Hmm.
So it's very important not to tell and make such loose comments in front of the child, because you need to respect the art of every child. And even while giving compliments to a child, most of the times we parents make a mistake. You're good, you're talented. Those are not compliments. Those doesn't. Good is just label, talent is
Hmm.
just label. But rather, a parent should appreciate the child by saying that I am so, so glad that you are doing your studies as well. At the same
Hmm.
time, you are putting so much of time and effort in creating these wonderful cartoons, and yes, you are doing it really well. You make the difference. Just telling that
Yes.
you're doing good, you're doing talent, and we need to describe things and appreciate the effort that the child is making. Now when we have done this, what will happen? This same child later on, okay, when life happens to him, he will focus on his career, but when he grows up and he needs something to de-stress himself, he
Hmm.
still knows that I have that art within me. And my
Correct.
parent had told me that I make good efforts at making these cartoons and making it makes me happy. Let me restart that. Yeah.
Hmm.
I would like over here, me, you, and the audience to ponder within ourselves, how many of us have so many hobbies which we have given up because we were also once upon a time told कि ये time pass है, ये फालतू है, this is not going to make you any money or
Hmm.
make you any career. And
Correct.
now we repent that we do not do things that we love. Yeah. So this is the approach that I would like to take with this particular family, and tell them that you can definitely encourage the child to do this as with his academics and all, because 12 years is too young to decide whether it will be a
Correct.
career or not a career and all that. But do not dissuade him, or do not shame him, or do not call his profession, or do not call his love as a time pass.
Hmm.
Because do we as human beings like that if somebody tells me that whatever you are doing other than my profession is time pass? We wouldn't like, right?
Hmm.
So the whole point comes, we need to evolve as parents, wherein we do not treat them that they are under us or
Hmm.
they know less than us. Yeah. We need to take them at par with us. And once we do that, then we'll be able to, naturally, it will come to us. Will that parent tell to any other adult who is drawing a cartoon or a caricature, this is time pass? No. He will not dare to tell any
Hmm.
other adult family relative that this is time pass. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, it's just because a child is powerless and wo sun leta hai. That's why we make such remarks, which I don't think should be done. And I feel sitting idle, it's one of the best things that can happen to anyone, because what nature can teach you, I don't think anybody else on the earth can teach you. That is the first point when you're in nature and just sitting idle and looking around. And the second thing, when you're sitting alone, whom are you with? You are with your own self, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't like your own self, how will you love others? So love is something that will flow from within. So nowadays, what is happening? If you tell someone, some child, you sit in the room idle without your phone, will he be able to? Because he is used to continuous external stimulus, phone, social media, all that happening, then only I'm happy. He doesn't enjoy his own company. So it is very, very important to teach our children that how you need to enjoy your own company and be happy without achieving anything, without doing anything.
Absolutely. And I know this way of approach, I think so every parent need to ponder on it, and they need to start following these kind of a approach, because where we are appreciating them, like despite of having that, doing that studies, and still they are able to make a good artwork. And also when I was having that conversation back to that, like they were started not only comparing, but also they are saying that instead of that, when they will complete their studies, they will going to get a great job. But and I was thinking that there is one side, there is the job, definitely, but one side, being as a creator, as a creative art, they don't know the importance. Sometimes what happens, as a parent, they don't have enough information about this particular thing. So that's why they are coming from their experience, and with a less knowledge, they make that particular comment, and that comment also, that becomes a disaster sometimes.
Yes.
And that actually pull the seeds out of a brain's child's brain. Now you said about the distraction, coming towards that particular point, I think so this is also one of the very, very much important topic which I want to discuss, because how this distraction is actually distracting a child's future. What is your point of view on this? Because I can see from every 10 child, there is 8 to 9 child is getting distracted, and they are having their mobile phone with them.
Yes.
And every now and then, they are just scrolling, and when it comes to studies, based on their habits and everything, that is also not good. So how it is actually impacting, and what do you think, you as a doctor, what do you see that in future, where all it is going to have an important effect, so that they can start taking care of it?
Sure. So, yeah, screen time is a huge, huge topic. I would say not only for children, but for adults as well.
Yes.
So, I would say that first, we as parents need to accept that we are in the 21st century.
Mm-hmm.
Screens are going to be there,
Mm-hmm.
not to take those screens as threat. Okay.
Okay.
Because when we put those things into our child's mind, they are not good. They are threat. You should not be on screens. We are just making certain statements without even thinking about it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because screens can be positive if
Mm-hmm.
used in the right manner. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You and me now, just because of the social media, and because of this facility of Zoom and many other things, we are able to do many things that are productive as well. So
Correct.
first, parents need to accept that screens are not a threat. Yeah. And screens are going to be there in this century, but now how do we use it? That's the
Mm-hmm.
first thing. Second thing, a parent needs to work on his or own relationship with the screen. We
Okay.
don't have to be hypocrites.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have seen so many parents who tell the child that when I am on Insta, I am doing work on Insta. But when you are doing Insta, you're doing time pass. We
Okay.
are being hypocrites. So we need to check our relationship with the screen. Yeah. Am I using social media just to, wail away my time? Or am I using social media in a positive manner? Because when we understand that, that, what is my relationship with the screen, then I
Mhm.
can understand my child's relationship. That's the second thing. Third thing, I would like to say that the evolved parenting methodology that I teach, it always takes care of the why and not the how. Okay, that
Mhm.
why the child is using the screen. Okay, it's a very, very deep rooted question.
Mhm.
So generally, why do children use screen? Children use screen first because they need to be seen. Yeah, seen meaning when they are using screen, they are having the internet friends that they have. They're getting some kind of upliftment from them, and that's why they are using that.
Mhm.
They need to feel successful. Okay, that's why they use screen. You are
Mhm.
just playing a game. In that game, you just hit whatever the
Winning and all.
score,
Mhm.
you win, you feel nice about it. Yeah, you need to feel all those things. You need to feel seen, you need to feel successful. And the best thing of the screen is, if you do not like a friend or someone, you can just block or delete that friend, which you do not have to do, which you cannot do it in reality. Yeah,
Hmm.
so parents need to understand why their child is doing that. Once we have understood that why my child is doing that, then just telling the child don't do this is not going to work. We need to provide our child all those things that are coming from the screen. Like, when is, as a parent, you have actually spent quality time with your child? Quality
Hmm.
time does not mean taking the child to a movie or taking the child to a mall or for a, just a picnic. Quality time means being one on one with the child, developing a deep connection with the child. Yeah.
Mhm.
So that
Mhm.
is extremely important. And we also need to understand that the screens are a huge dopamine rush. Okay, so it is like the screens produce a hormone called as dopamine, which is
Mhm.
a very good hormone, and then I need more and more. You get it? So
Mhm.
we need to set boundaries right from the beginning. So let me now give you a very practical example.
Mhm.
For example, when my son was growing, he was around 10, 11 or so.
Mhm.
He never had his own screen. Children less than 13 years of age should not have their own phones. That is what all the bodies of pediatrics say. So he
Okay.
didn't have his own screen, but he
Mhm.
had a time duration of half an hour when
Mhm.
he could watch the screen with one of us as a parent.
Okay.
He used to love playing virtual soccer in it. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, just having those buttons on the screen where you hit the ball, you create some goals and you're happy with it.
Mhm.
So earlier, I didn't understand what is he getting from it because I do not follow soccer so much and
Mhm.
I don't know. So as a mother following evolved parenting, I just first told that, hey buddy, you're looking so excited when you play this. Can you teach me how to do that? So he taught me that you hit the right button, the player goes forward, you hit this button, player goes backward, then you have to adjust the ball and then you can hit a goal. And the
Mhm.
opponent, you have to, stop him from defending or so. So
Mhm.
he taught that to me. He was very excited when he was teaching me because he was feeling that, wow, my mama is learning from me. So
From
there
me,
is where the
yes.
connection started,
Mhm.
because I didn't say that, I know everything more than you. I just said, teach me how to do it. Then the second time, I said, now let's play together because you seem so excited. Let me see that how do I also like it. So I played for around 10-15 minutes or so. And I said, wow, Harav, this is amazing. Yeah. When the player kicks the goal, I also felt really nice about it. So no wonder, that you want to play more and more. You get it? I am understanding his psychology, what he's going through.
Mhm.
And I told him that, all of us feel nice when we are doing these things or playing. Even when I watch sometimes certain things which I love, the dance or dance reels or so, but
Mhm.
we need to have a boundary. So let's do one thing. Now let's just keep a time limit or put a timer wherein as soon as the timer rings after 30 minutes, we stop the game and we go back to whatever we were doing. He
Okay.
happily agreed to do so. Before I could apply this methodology, it was a struggle because I was just telling him, stop the screen, don't do this, without understanding why he was doing this. When I understood why he was doing this, when I actually became like him, I
Hmm.
could actually be a friend and tell him how to set a boundary. Makes sense? So it is very,
Absolutely.
very important for each one of us as a parent to provide them what are the things that they're getting from the screen. So now I know of one of my friends who, there was a play date.
Hmm.
They were around 11, 12 years old girls. So her daughter is 12 years old and two more girls were coming on. So, the same thing, the daughter wanted, Mama, I want laptop or an iPad, and we will play on that. So the mom, without just say, no, you're not going to do that, had all those reprimands and punishments. And the child got very upset about it. So after half an hour, the mom was in the room having her me time because children are playing, she thought. So she knocked the door and she got a lot of makeup stuff. So she told the mother that, Mama, since we are not doing anything with the screen, we were just wondering, if we can learn some strokes of how to do makeup on your face. So the mother was really upset and she said, No, 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 I am not going to give you my space. I am not give you my me time. And then she wondered that if I don't do this, they will again go back to the screens.
Hmm.
So, the whole point of telling here is we need to make ourselves available as parents. If we
Hmm.
are not available as parents for them to connect with us or to do certain stuff with us, then definitely they will go to the screens where they are
Someone
getting
else.
much more, right? So,
Absolutely.
being available for them, yeah, giving quality time to them and understanding why they do what they do rather than just having commands and reprimands that you cannot do this, changing your relationship with the social media is extremely important when it comes to screen time. So, in my upcoming book, I have written in details about this
Hmm.
step by step that how you can take care of the screen time of your child and how that screen time can become more of a connection time rather than a conflict time. So that is one thing. And I think the second question that you asked was
Yeah. So it's about the screen time, which you
Acha,
have
what are the effects that the screen time could have
is
in
going to
future?
happen in child's future. Yeah.
So yeah, so there are a lot of statistics about this that
Hmm.
screen time has affection on physical factors as well as the mental health.
Okay.
On physical health, it can lead to obesity. Yeah. So the
Hmm.
statistics say that every added hour of screen time can increase the risk of obesity by 13%, 13%. Because when you are watching the screen, you are just sitting and you are not doing outdoor activities.
Hmm.
And the advertisements on the screen that are just showing up that compel you to have junk food. So that's why obesity increases.
Hmm.
Physically, children have bad posture,
Hmm.
they have bad eyesight. Yeah.
Hmm.
Now, coming to the mental health, it has been seen that any child who has consistently more than 7 hours of screen time per day has increased chances of depression and anxiety in future. So there are
Hmm.
umpteen number of studies which have been done. Toddlers between 2 to 5 years of age who are on the screen and the screen is more than 2 hours per day, they have more chances of ADHD, that is attention deficit
Depression.
hyperactive disorder. So there are a lot of ill effects of the screen if they are not used in a healthy manner. So
Hmm.
I would say that this is a huge thing, and parents should definitely think of getting help right from the beginning by parenting experts or coaches who can help them and their child to have a healthy relationship.
Absolutely. Well, such a drastic effect, like you said it very well, because it has shifted my perspective as well when it comes to the screen time. Instead of not doing and that commanding to not to do about the having a low screen time and all, you should be having a certain period of a time, and as a healthy screen time, I think so this is a new word, like, healthy screen time is always good. And where you shared, like, the things which will lead to obesity and also a lot of different aspects, ADHD and everything. Uh, is that has any effect on the emotions way as well? Because nowadays I can see when it comes to screen, especially what people watching reels, sometimes they are happy, sometimes they are sad, sometimes they are like, getting angry. Lot of emotions are taking place within one minute or seconds. So how it is going to have an effect? And compared to the other month, like I was when I was traveling, and this remind me when you shared this, when I was traveling, I saw that there was one family on the opposite, where they were sitting, and there were two kids, and both the parents were there, and both the parents had given a mobile phone to their kids. And the journey where I started around afternoon 3:30 p.m., and that journey I was there in that particular place from 3:30 to somewhere around, I think so 8:30, somewhere around 7:30 or 8. Until that time, I have seen only one thing, that the younger one, he was playing on his mobile phone. I already reached from point A to point B to the destination, and that person, that young child of that family, he is on a screen and he is just playing a game. So, how it is going to shape his future, and, like, how it is going to have an impact, impact on his emotion? Could you dive deep on this particular as well?
Yeah, so see, forget the child, but even us. When we are on the screens, we are actually looking at somebody else's real life. Yeah, we
Hmm.
don't know the real life of it,
Correct.
of that person, but we start comparing, we
Hmm.
start competing. Yeah. Now, in our professions or in our career, if somebody else, has achieved something which you are capable of achieving, but you have not achieved still, what emotions do we go through? We feel sad that, oh
Hmm.
God, this person was not very intelligent. I am more intelligent than him or her. And still he achieved these certain accolades, and
Hmm.
I don't have that. So definitely we also as adults, we go into some kind of sadness when we see this. So definitely for a child, these emotions are going to create a lot of overwhelm. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because the kind of matter that the screens give, or the grain or the games or everything have, the child is totally hyper. There are a lot of hormones within the child that are going on, and he's not at all, his brain is working much more faster than he should, and there
Hmm.
is no control over his brain, and his thought process is no calm within. So definitely his emotions will be lot of tantrums, overwhelm, lot of emotions. Second thing, the child will start a lot of comparisons, and
Hmm.
either he will feel that I am inferior, I am not worthy, and I
Hmm.
am not enough because
Hmm.
others are doing many more things.
Hmm.
Comparisons not only about himself, but
Hmm.
also if the family is not being able to take care of the child
Hmm.
in this manner, that
Hmm.
the family is not able to give the child international destinations to
Hmm.
travel, but his
Hmm.
friends are going to international destinations, you start sinking and you have that emotions that I am not rich, I cannot
Hmm.
go to international places wherein my friends can travel. So yeah, screens lead to a lot of emotional upheaval inside not only a child's mind but also an adult's heart and mind. So definitely there would be a lot of imbalance in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Already a child's system, his immune system, all his systems are very, very fragile. They're very, very labile because they are yet not stabilized. And these
Mm-hmm.
screens cause a lot of damage to his developing brain. And
Mm-hmm.
hence, there are a lot of disorders like ADHD, depression, anxiety because of this external stimulus.
Mm-hmm. So they are into packed into completely a digital life, but forgetting about the living a real physical kind of a life. They are more into the digital real life. That is what is
Absolutely.
happening. Definitely, this digital screen that is actually impacting them more towards their future as well. Now, how about the comparison? Because here, child, whenever one is as a parent, we are comparing with our neighbors or maybe to the relatives or maybe like during the school or maybe in a college's time, that we always compare because we as a parent normally, we as a parent, we see our child is not better than someone else's child. And this has happened no matter like how good he might be, having a great importance when he go outside the house, but inside the house like he is just like maybe sometime not good at all compared to other. So how this comparison affects one's life and how it gets deep rooted and gets stuck, and which is like which is not able to get a right direction. This is one. And the other thing is how as a parent we can approach toward comparison, or how we can deal with this comparison. Instead comparison, what is that best approach what we can do towards our children?
Okay. So, for the comparisons, I would say there is a huge parenting myth which I had.
Okay.
And when I surveyed, there are many other parents who also have this myth that I want to be a perfect parent and I want a perfect child.
Uh-huh.
So, that is a myth that we are stuck on with. Again, this is because the society would have given us this.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to say that, there is nothing called as a perfect child
Mm-hmm.
and there is nothing called as a perfect parent. So I think, Ravi, that's a beautiful question. And I would like to tell about one of the parenting myths that I had. And when I surveyed, many of us parents had
Mm-hmm.
that I want to be a perfect parent and have a
Mm-hmm.
perfect child. There is
Mm-hmm.
nothing called as a perfect parent
Mm-hmm.
and nothing called as a perfect child. Every child is suited for the parent. Get it? So we
So you mean
cannot make
every child is perfect?
perfect for that parent.
Okay.
If we have the society standards of perfect child as obedient, number
Mm-hmm.
one in class,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have his own voice and never ever answers back, follows whatever the parent says, then I'm
Mm-hmm.
not meaning that perfect child. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the child is actually perfect for the parent. So it's a
Mm-hmm.
puzzle where, those two pieces of the puzzle are joined
Mm-hmm.
where we are perfect for each other. Yeah.
Oh.
So there's nothing called as a perfect child or a perfect parent.
Mm-hmm.
To make this relation perfect or to make this relation better, at
Mm-hmm.
both ends, we need to work on.
Mm-hmm.
When you said comparisons, now
Mm-hmm.
again, why do we compare? We compare or our children with other children, or we compare ourselves with other parents because we feel that I am not enough. You know, we do not accept ourselves as we are. So, the
Okay.
main crux of evolved parenting methodology is first, we have certain steps in that methodology.
Mm-hmm.
Each and every parent needs to identify his or her parenting style. Yeah. So, there are
Okay.
various parenting styles which I have written in details in my upcoming book. So, we
Mm-hmm.
need to know our parenting style. For example, whether I am an anxious mother or
Mm-hmm.
whether I am a very permissive mother. I let my child do what he wants to do. So that is, in short, a parenting style.
Mm-hmm.
Second thing is accept ourselves as we are, because our parent guilt also, like now, me being a working mother,
Mm-hmm.
I can give certain time to my child, maybe an hour or two, or let me take example of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
All other parents were more with their children during COVID because they were not allowed to go out. But
Mm-hmm.
I was a working mother, a COVID frontline warrior, and
Mm-hmm.
I spent less time with my child. So if I would have compared over there that, I am not able to give my child time what the other mothers are giving in this situation, then I would have ruined my peace. I would have created a huge disconnect with my child. So what
Mm-hmm.
I did, I tried and gave my child as much as time as I could, and that time was absolutely one-on-one quality time. Okay, whenever I got off from my duties, because I
Mm-hmm.
accepted myself that I am a doctor, I have chosen this rule. I have chosen this for myself that I need to give service to my patients also. So, in that frame or in that role of mine, now how can I also contribute as a mother? Yeah. So, that
Mm-hmm.
is accepting myself as I am. That is the second step.
Mm-hmm.
Third thing, accept your child as he or she is. Okay, the true essence of our child. That is
Mm-hmm.
what we've been talking throughout, whatever we
Mm-hmm.
have been talking throughout is all about accepting the child as he or she is. So, the true
Mm-hmm.
essence of the child, meaning that, for example, again, I'm giving you my own example that I am a high achiever. A lot of accolades I have received at every step. You named it
Mm-hmm.
10th standard, 12th standard, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
If my child is not the same, okay, and he is not that academic oriented, but he is more towards sports, I need to accept him as he is, his
Mm-hmm.
true essence. Yeah. So that is
Mm-hmm.
the third step. That is very, very important that I accept my child as he or she is. And then finally, it comes when both the parties have mutually accepted them that, I am where I am, my child is where I am. Then you work on the relationship together for the betterment. And the
Mm-hmm.
last step, finally, you can then only build a deep connection. So when you go through these steps, then I don't think there would be any role of comparisons,
Mm-hmm.
because here you are not looking at the surrounding, you are just looking at your own self as a parent, and you are looking at the true essence of your own child without comparison to siblings or any other children. So comparisons won't come if you follow this methodology. And again, it boils down to the same. This is like raising consciousness, not, when I say that my child is not good enough, or he is lesser, or the other child is better than him, I am actually refuting the universe who has created my child. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All of us have been bought with our essence, right? What I have, you do not have. What qualities you have, I do not have. Yeah. It's only when wholeheartedly we accept each other as we are. Same holds true for a parent and child relationship. So the comparisons will completely go away. That is the first thing that I would say when we evolve. And your second question was about?
I want to ask you something. When it comes to the comparison, you also talk about the relationship over here. Okay. The relationship, how important is the relationship over here? Because I have seen that as a parent, we tend to, that I am a parent. Okay. Is it should be a more authoritative? Is it should be as a friends? Or maybe is there any other way also? And how actually it impacts a child's relationship
Future.
being as a child and his future as well. What
Perfect.
would your approach when it comes to, like, you create that bonding and giving that space which is needed for a child as well? What
Correct.
kind of
Correct.
thing you would suggest in it?
Correct, correct. So, okay. So, for example, I would say when I spoke of relationship and I spoke that, this is like every child is individual for the parent, they are the
Mm-hmm.
best match. For
Yeah.
example, if I have an anxious child who's
Mm-hmm.
very anxious, if
Mm-hmm.
before the exams my child gets very anxious,
Mm-hmm.
he cannot sleep well, he cannot
Mm-hmm.
rest well, he cannot eat well or so, then I need to understand the style, the temperament of my child. Once I
Okay.
have understood the temperament of my child, I need to change my temperament and mellow down. Can I also be anxious? No. Because if he is
Mm-hmm.
anxious, I also show so much of my anxiety, then I would not be able to calm him down and things will get more worsened. Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
I, even though if I'm an anxious mother, but in that particular time,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I need to calm myself down because this calm then percolates to my child and I am going to soothe him with my calmness. So, this is the kind of relationship or this is the kind of bonding that I am talking. And this happens only when you are aware of who you are as a human being. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't happen when you don't know your own temperament, you don't know
Mm-hmm.
what you are as a human being. So, this is the relationship that I'm talking of in a parent and a child. Now, does this affect the child's future? Definitely, yes. Yeah, giving another example, if there is a child who's very emotionally sensitive,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and the parent is a very hyper parent or an authoritative parent,
Mm-hmm.
who just shames, bullies, and names the child. So
Okay.
now this sensitive child who's already very, very like sensitivity means what? If there is an another children who, another child who doesn't give much care to what others say will be fine if he is even told that you are lazy. But this
Mm-hmm.
sensitive child, when told by the parent, shamed and bullied again by the parent that you are lazy, you won't be able to achieve anything in future. You are like that only. You will get
Mm-hmm.
to do all the menial jobs and the mundane jobs. Now, this has created a deep scar within. And this child, whenever he grows in future, whenever he is going to do any new venture or any new project, he will remember this and he will ask himself, no, but I'm lazy. I cannot achieve anything good in my life. Am I really worthy enough? Do I really deserve this? You get it? What I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to tell you. So it definitely affects the child's future, and yes, it would definitely affect a parent's future as well, because which parent wants his or her child to be sad or be depressed or be anxious? No parent wants. Yeah. So the whole game over here is to understand that parenting is not natural. You
Mm-hmm.
need to learn parenting
Learn.
and to switch from the traditional methods, whatever you have known till now, whatever your parents have taught, not making them guilty for teaching you this. It's okay. That is only what they knew during that times.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We have not done anything back to you, but the limited knowledge that they had. But now you have an opportunity to shift to the evolved parenting methods and then see that how you can convert this beautiful relation and create a deep connect with your child.
Absolutely. That is the right way, because as a parent, we need to understand what goes through to our child based on the situation and events where they are. A great example was given by you, like, during the exam times. Now, as a parent, I have seen this a lot. Maybe as a mother or maybe as a father. Let's suppose they both are a working professional. Okay, what percentage would you give? Because I have seen that the family starts getting an argument that it's your child, it's as well as my child. So the 50% time, like, you have to do this. They have given us specific things, a task, maybe that you have to go and drop to him to the school. I'm the one who is going to pick him up. I'm just giving an example. This is one
Yeah,
kind of
I got it.
activity. The second activity is you are going to take him to for a swimming. The I will be, like, taking him while coming back from the office. So, what do you suggest over here? Is that a right approach, or is there a better approach towards this? That as a working professional, how much time you can give, or even if you want to give a quality time, on what basis, and how this whole approach should be, according to you,
Okay.
as evolved parenting?
Okay, so Ravi, again, I would come to raising your human consciousness.
Okay.
Forget as a parent and a child relation, but in any
Mm-hmm.
other relation, even when you have with your colleagues in the office, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When do we demarcate work or when do we draw? We have to. But when our colleague is in trouble or he's
Mm-hmm.
not able to cope up, we do help. Yeah. Why do
Mm-hmm.
we help? Because we have developed that kind of bond.
Bon.
That time we don't have transactions that I'm going to help you for 2 hours. So your overtime, what you're going to get, you're going to give me. Do we do that? We don't do
No.
that, right? So similarly, when we have become parents, first of all, parenting is a huge project. So, as I have always been talking to you and telling to you, it is like you need to give at least 18 to 20 years of your life to mold this new being which is coming in the society. So, just getting married and having a child would not do justice if you want to really have a beautiful relationship. So, it's a huge project and a huge commitment. Second thing, when you become a parent, always, whether you are a mother, I don't want to leave the fathers out. My heart cries for the fathers also because many a times mothers voice out their
Mm-hmm.
traumas and all, but fathers are the silent bearers of things. So my
Mm-hmm.
due respect to the fathers who do so much for the family. So when you become a parent, you already have accepted and you already have surrendered that my child's priorities or aspirations or his life path will come before mine. You get it?
Mm-hmm.
It is like I am not going to continue just fulfilling my aspirations one track, but I will see to it that I facilitate my aspirations around my child's life. What when the conflict happens, when the parent has his own ambitions and the child is around? But when you
Mm-hmm.
keep the child as a center, both the mother and father, and you work your things around the child, there will be no kind of any conflicts or anything that would happen ever in life. So that is the second thing that I would say, that whenever you become a parent, you always take a back seat.
Mm-hmm.
I would not say take a back seat, but you're doing a surrender for somebody who you treasure and somebody whom you are going to help him grow in his journey. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the second thing that I would like to say. And coming to your question was, can you just say it again? This
Yeah,
is
yeah. So it was how much percentage
ah
it should be, like,
yes,
as a mother,
yes,
as
yes.
a
Got it,
father.
got it.
Yeah.
So, see, whenever you have surrendered and you have come to a pax as a family, then there
Mm-hmm.
is nothing called as percentage. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like whenever your husband has told that he is going to do certain things,
Mm-hmm.
but because of his work pressure on that day, which came up suddenly,
Okay.
you don't tell him that you were supposed to do this and now you are not doing this, I am not going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, you have to see the betterment of the child and the betterment of the family, and you have to pitch in. Yes, you need to work out percentages for logistic reasons, but I hope you understood the feeling that I'm coming from. Because many a times when you do percentage wise, you are leading a transactional based relationship. You know, You give me 50% love, I will, you give 50% love to my son, I will give 50% love to
That's
my
how it is
son.
going to become
That doesn't
100%.
work. That doesn't
That's
work.
what they think.
That doesn't work. Yeah, so that's why I told the first two things, that parenting is a huge project and a huge commitment. And the second thing is, whenever you have become a parent, you are already on the path of surrender to
Mhm.
see for the betterment of the child. And if you follow these two things, then the percentage will not come in. But
Hmm.
still, if the percentage comes in, then there are so many people nowadays I see who work by the calendar, who work by the schedule, because yes, the lives are very busy. Then whatever is feasible for you. For example, if your child's school is on the path to your office, take the responsibility by yourself to drop the child. Yeah,
Hmm.
wherein the mother takes the responsibility of seeing to it that during his exams, I will pitch in for the studies of my child. If the
Hmm.
father is good at finances, then the father
Hmm.
takes the responsibility that when the child is growing, I will inculcate the money part of it, the money behavior, the affirmations about money and many things around the money to the child. So it is a mutual understanding that I would say that we do as a family. It is nothing demarcated, but there are certain untold rules. For example, in studies, now my son does need, we do help him in his studies because we want to. So I am good at sciences, so I do sciences with him, I do history with him. My
Hmm.
husband is very good at geography and maths, so he takes over those subjects. You get
Hmm.
it? So it's a mutual understanding between a family, that what you are willing to give. And ultimately, this has to come like we are giving because for ourselves and not for the child. Because many a times the conflict comes in when you do percentage sharing is when you're thinking you are doing all these things for the child.
Hmm.
Yeah, or you are doing all these things for the wife, or you're doing all these things for the husband. No, you are doing it for your own self.
Yourself.
Yeah, because if I chip in and I make my husband happy and little freer for his work, I'm doing for my own self because I like my husband to be happy in his own space. So life is all about giving, right? And I think a parent-child relation and a spouse relation, with the child is one of the most giving relations. And I don't think there should be any kind of transaction that comes in that relation, because it is one of the most purest relation that I would say. The moment transaction comes in, the moment percentages come in, then there would be a lot of conflict when those are not fulfilled.
Absolutely. And that might lead also towards questioning oneself that why did the I had a child at the first place then?
Correct,
That will
correct,
lead it to, but instead of that, you said it very well that the approach should be like accepting the day when you have become like become a father or a mother. That means yes, it's for your own self what you are doing, it's not for someone else. Because the moment you are putting it like because of you I have did this, because of you, once we start expecting, and this is what I have I started seeing in a lot of families, and especially maybe a traditional way of thinking is
correct.
I have done a lot of things for you from at this particular age till this particular age, and now you
Hmm.
did this, and that was not right. So we are
Hmm.
just imposing them all the way that like I did this, I did that. Instead of that, whatever you have done, it's not for someone else, but you are doing it for yourself. You wanted the child.
Absolutely,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Coming to the other way, and we are coming to the towards the end. Okay, I just have a two, three more questions because I don't want you to leave so early, because I know taking out a time from your schedule, it's not that particular easy, and I don't want the parents should do such kind of a mistake which might ruin the relationship with their child. And coming to the relationship towards the child, how important it is for a parent to instill a proper values in them from childhood. And the second one towards that is how important it is when it comes to a shaping towards certain kind of uh, environment, the kind of an environment you're giving to the child, how does that affect and why it is so important?
Okay, so I would say that when it comes to values,
Mm-hmm.
you need to play or you need to be the role model. You
Okay.
know, a child, you cannot tell him, be honest. You
Uh,
cannot tell him, have integrity. You yourself need to be honest. You yourself need to have integrity, because children do not learn when you teach them, but children beautifully imitate what you do. Okay,
mm,
so your child is actually going to attract what you are rather than what you tell him. Yeah, you most of the time see when you tell something to children, they will pay least attention. But when you role model in front of them, like small things.
mm-hmm,
For example, that if I have made a promise to my son
mm-hmm,
that after this exam gets over, me and you are going to have a play date, or we are going to go to a mall and have the thing that you like the most to eat. Yeah,
mm-hmm,
whatever come may, even if I have the busiest of the day and I am tired by the end of the day, still if I want to inculcate the value of integrity, I need to do what I have said. So
mm,
that is what I would say by instilling values, is actually do and become a beautiful human being from within, and your child is going to imitate you. Yeah.
mm-hmm,
So that is what I would say when it comes to values.
mm-hmm.
And coming to your second question regarding,
About the environment, how
yeah, so
important
important is the
the
environment.
environment? Yes.
So I would say that, let me take an example of a plant. If you are
Okay.
sowing a seed, yeah,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
in the soil,
mm-hmm,
you would definitely want the right amount of sunshine, the
mm-hmm,
right amount of water,
mm-hmm,
yeah, for it to come, and non interference, right? If I sow a seed every day, if I keep on checking that seed, are uga ke nahi, uga ke nahi, what will happen to the seed? It's going to die. Yeah. So
mm-hmm,
I just need to sow the seed. I need to give the right amount of water, the right amount of sunlight, and wait. Correct? Then only after a few days, I would see that a plant is coming up. Similarly, for a child, I need to instill, or I need to be someone who from whom he gets those values,
mm-hmm,
then give him the right kind of environment in the form of changing my own self. As
mm-hmm,
we already spoke of, having healthy relation with the screen,
mm-hmm,
if I have the value of being a very soft spoken person, then actually following that, not
mm-hmm,
raising my voice even when the circumstances are not correct. Okay.
mm-hmm,
So, this is the right kind of environment that I give him. Second thing, no shaming, no naming, no bullying. That is the best thing that a parent can give the child. When something goes wrong in your life, I would urge the parent, or a situation with your child, it is better not to say anything. Change your room, change the environment, move away from that situation, rather than using certain words which you are going to regret yourself more
mm-hmm,
later. So, no shaming, naming, and bullying kind of environment. All that we have spoken of right now. No environment where you keep on comparing your child with others. Your
mm-hmm,
child should just know that what I am today, tomorrow I have to be better than what I am today. That's it. He needs to
mm-hmm,
learn the subtle values, that I need to compare myself with only yesterday,
mm-hmm,
not with anybody else, because I am enough and I am worthy and I have my own values that I have come up with. So,
mm-hmm,
that kind of environment is extremely important. And yeah, I would say you don't have to do anything, you have to be someone. When you
mm-hmm,
have an essence of a good human consciousness, when you are a beautiful human being from within, you are a beautiful parent, and your children will turn out to be beautiful children. So you don't have to worry that what should I do? What should I pretend to be? You
Mhm.
change yourself and things will work out.
Absolutely. And coming to our last question now, Dr. Apita, that I have seen, like, whenever I'm having a conversation with you, like, I can see the vibration is very high, like, and that I can able to see that your frequency, your vibration is always high, and like, you tend to be, because very happy kind of a person, even if something is going wrong, or like, maybe he's going through some kind of a problem, or and if he comes and speak to you, he will be able to change his own vibration completely, and he will really start laughing with you. So what is the secret, like, maybe, like, you can give us a three secret which you do, which can help a parent to stay on a high vibe, and like, always stay, like, being very much happy. What would
Okay.
you suggest? Because I see that when the parents are happy, the children are automatically happy. When the parents are not at all happy, despite of children are happy by, like, playing with that toys, or maybe, like, having achieved something, they are not happy. So what would you suggest, and what is your secret on that particular thing?
So thank you for that huge compliment. I don't think there could be any better compliment than this because I feel, other than the mission, what you have spoken about, like my mission is to help 1 million parents convert from conflict to connection. My mission is just to spread happiness and love. And for example, one can spread only something that they have within, right?
Mm-hmm.
As you know, we always heard this story from one of my gurus who said that if you squeeze an orange, what would come out from that orange? Orange juice, right? Will an apple juice or a mango juice come out of it? No. So the same goes for us. What we have within, it will come out. So when it comes to my positive vibe or being happy, being stable, irrespective of the surrounding situations, the first and foremost thing I would like to tell every parent or every human being that keep working on yourself. We are all work in progress. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Never ever we would have achieved or we would have attained anything because every day there is something to learn from someone. So work on yourself with lot of humility and lot of gratitude for what you are today. Yeah, that is the first thing. When you have humility and gratitude for everything, I think everything gets sorted. Second thing that I would like to say is anything happens in your life, do not react. Just take a pause, reflect, and respond. Yeah, because most of the times the things go wrong when we react. So we need to take a pause, we need to reflect, and we need to respond. So have a attitude of zipping your lips,
Mm-hmm.
biting your tongue, and retreat in silence when it comes to parenting for sure. You know, you sometimes feel like telling something to your child, zip your lips up, bite your tongue, and just take a pause and go into silence. Within next 5 to 10 minutes, thing would have got sorted by itself. So the second thing to keep a high vibe and positive is reflect, pause, and ponder.
Mm-hmm.
And the third thing, which my heart always says, and that is what my methodology is, keep evolving. We
Mm-hmm.
already have within ourselves, we just need to reveal that. And to reveal that, we need to remove the layers. Is it that I am 100%, I'm a mom who's 100% happy all the time in the relationship with my child? No. I am also evolving, but yes, I am evolving, meaning, if there is a setback, then I
Mm-hmm.
bounce back much faster because
Mm-hmm.
of working on myself. And the last thing, By evolving, I mean that when you evolve, there is a lot of surrender, you know, until and unless you surrender to the process, until and unless you surrender to the universe, you will have so much of ego within. So don't play from your ego. You
Mhm.
play from your, it's like, I'm reading a book called as Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life by Dr. Wayne Dyer, who
Mhm.
says that have a thou centered relationship rather than a ego centered relationship. Your
Mhm.
ego means edge God out. When you edge God out, nothing works in your life. When you always keep God within and
Mhm.
have lot of humility and gratitude, there is no reason that you will become unhappy. Or even if you become unhappy, you will understand that this
Mhm.
unhappiness is because of me. Take responsibility and you will again
Mhm.
turn out to be happy. So taking 100% responsibility for your life is the key to what all I have said till now.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think so. Like it's very much important because we, as a parent, we think that it's all because of this child. I am unhappy, but instead of taking that 100% responsibility, like whatever is happening to me, or maybe the kind of a feeling I am having right now, it's because of me. It's not because of someone else. Because of that, the way we are reacting towards that particular situation. What is the last piece of advice you would like to give it to the parents? A golden advice, I would say.
I would say that, we've been talking this whole talk show. It came up so well, beautifully. I'm so, so glad that we could touch certain sensitive and deep points.
Mhm.
Whatever I have said is my perspective. So
Mhm.
it's not a gospel truth. I would just say that, whatever we have spoken, me and Ravi have spoken in this video, just ponder over it, just reflect on all those points. And even if each one of you over here get one point, which can make a difference to the
Mhm.
relationship between you and your child, then I think we have done it. Right? So I would just urge each and every parent to reflect on what has been spoken till now and just yeah, I would say don't take parenting as something that has to be done. Parenting is nothing to be done. Parenting is all about you and not about your child. It is
Mhm.
about raising yourself before you raise your child. So that would be my last message when I leave here, that otherwise it would have been called childing, right? But it
Mhm.
is called parenting. So, very subtle difference, because I think that is a huge myth that everybody thinks. Parenting means I have to correct my child, parenting means I have to better my child,
Mhm.
parenting means I have to discipline my child.
Mhm.
No, parenting means I have to better myself
As a
as a
parent.
parent, and everything else will fall in place.
Absolutely, that is the right way of putting through, like as a parent, what needs to be done. So yes, I can see, like you have been writing. There is an upcoming book which is going to launch soon. So can you talk about that? Like
Sure,
what that book is all about, and like
sure,
who is the best people, like who can watch that? Sorry, read that particular book, and when are we expecting to be launched?
sure.
And if you have a title also, you can share it.
Sure. So, yeah, thank you, Ravi, for inspiring me to write a book.
Okay.
You've always been a good source of inspiration to write that.
Thank you.
And yes, a book would be upcoming soon. I would not
Mhm.
commit to a date because I
Mhm.
generally do not commit to something which I cannot, follow that. So
Mhm.
it would be definitely be coming soon.
Mhm.
And for the first 50 participants, I am so glad that I would be giving this book as well as a one-to-one parenting blueprint call with me, so
Oh
that
wow.
we together can evolve on this journey. And it will I'll be so grateful that you will help me live my mission of helping 1 million parents and helping them evolve from conflict to connection. So, this whole book is about the evolved parenting methodology,
Mm-hmm.
and it is about the day to day concerns that you go as a parent.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I am too excited when this comes out, and I would definitely urge every parent to follow me on my Insta page, The Evolved Parenting, wherein I will share in further information about this book. And really, thank you so much, Ravi, for inviting me for this talk show. I would say that, Ravi, you are such a wonderful host. You actually know how to bring the essence out of the person whom you're talking with. So it was a beautiful journey talking with you for the past 2 hours. And Ravi is a friend of mine. He himself is a very, very successful coach and a trainer. And he has a beautiful book which you can see behind called as a Quit Mediocrity. So, yeah, Ravi, I'm deeply honored to be with you on your talk show. And let's join hands together to make a difference to this world and as many people as we can. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And thank you so much, Dr. Arpita, for coming in for this talk show. Because I always believe that like it's it's always to learn from the best of the best. It's always to be learned from the expert. That's where the thing is, because the expert is not only like who knows everything about a social media. The expert is someone who has given a decade of experience dealing these kind of a situation and like going through ups and downs, and from that particular experience the expert is giving his or her expertise. And that's why like I always wanted like you to be on the show, because I can see that the parenting is getting more challenging topic nowadays. And now because you are there now, it is not going to be more challenging. That is what I would see, because now the parenting is has started being evolved now. Okay, and I would highly urge all of you like listening and like watching this particular video, go and start following Dr. Arpita. And you can already see the Instagram link over here. Just follow her. And if you have any kind of a question, please feel free to reach out or DM to like Dr. Arpita, and based on her availability, she will be able to respond you through DMs. And also, yes, the book is going to launch very very soon, and I would say be the first 50%. Be the first 50% who can go ahead and grab this book, because this is what I believe. Like if someone just within this particular video, if something has been clicked on my nerve, that means I need to have this person's book. That is how I see. So go and grab it, because not only you're going to get a book, like as she said. And thank you so much for that opportunity, Dr. Apita, like for all of the people who are going to watch, that not only that book, she's also going to give a 30-minute parenting blueprint call to you. Okay, and that itself is a, like it's a big achievement, I would say, because to get an appointment to her, like by paying lots of money, it's better you can go ahead and buy a book and get a blueprint out of it. Okay, so go ahead and start following and grab her book. Okay, before it gets sold out. Okay, and thank you so much, Dr. Apita, for coming and joining the Ravi Nada show. And I truly got inspired, and I myself as a parent also learned a lot of things, because there are so many things I was able to change my perspective, the way I need to see as a child. And a lot of things I started making a note as well. And I myself was also going to watch this video once again, because I have to get evolved through parenting as well. Because just by doing this, you cannot learn, right? Sometime you have to go through these kind of things again and again and again. So thank you
True.
so much, Dr. Apvita, and I'm super excited to see
Thank you.
your book as well. Okay, and thank you so much for your time. And yeah, God bless you and have a very, very nice day. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you so much for calling me. Thank you, Ravi.
Thank
Have a
you.
great day.
Yeah.
Bye.